hela, sina pesa, sina do, sina nyumba, sina gari, sina ho. Kila kukikucha minayowaza kesho, tapiga moyo konde nitafika ho. Wanaokudharau leo watakusalimia kesho kwa heshima, wanaokusema sema watakusifia kesho. Unaokula nao
Joseph Riungu, the Acting Deputy Director, Public Prosecutions, Ms. Jan Mohammed, Senior Counsel, the Treasurer of the Senior Bar Council, and all the Senior Councils President, Mr. Mwaura Kabata, the Vice President, LSK, and all the advocates present, members of the families of our departed judicial officers, judicial staff, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. We gather here this afternoon to honor 7 departed judicial officers, this being the inaugural special tribute sessions. These are Honorable Athman Hussein, Honorable Bernard Rugut, Honorable Kunyuk Tito, Honorable Monica Kivuti, Honorable Timothy Oletanchu, Honorable Jacqueline Ojwang, and Honorable Zena Rashid. This afternoon, we come together to honor their lives, celebrate their service, and acknowledge the enduring contributions they each made to the administration of justice in this country. They were dedicated officers who approached this work with integrity, humility, and a deep sense of duty. Their decisions, their fairness, and compassion they brought to their courtrooms touched many lives and strengthened public confidence in our judicial system. This special session allows us to celebrate who they are, their values, and their quiet strength with which they carried out their responsibilities. Their legacy lives on this institution they helped shape and in the people they served with dignity and heart. With those few remarks, it is now my pleasure and privilege to invite the Honorable the Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya to preside over the proceedings. Welcome, my lady.
Hussein, Honorable Bernard Kipyegon Rogut, Honorable Kunyuk Tito, Honorable Monica Kivuti, Honorable Timothy Oretanchu, Honorable Jacqueline Mudhoni Ojwang, and Honorable Zena Rashid. All these distinguished officers served the judiciary with dedication, with clarity of mind, and steadfast commitment to justice. They left an enduring imprint in our institution. They were exemplary in their service and their contribution to the growth of our justice system, and therefore, as a judiciary, we remain deeply appreciative of all of them, and we take this opportunity to remember them and honor them. I now wish to call upon the Honorable Deputy Registrar of the Magistrates Court to call out the matters in the cause list.
Miscellaneous application number 1 of 2025 in the matter of the late Honorable Ahmad Abdullahi Hussein. Miscellaneous application number 2 of 2025 in the matter of the late Bernard Kipyegon Rogut. Miscellaneous application number 3 of 2025 in the matter of the late Honorable Kunyuk John Tito. Miscellaneous application number 4 of 2025 in the matter of the late Honorable Monica Kivuti. Miscellaneous application number 5 of 2025 in the matter of the late Honorable Timothy Oretanchu. Miscellaneous application number 6 of 2025 in the matter of the late Honorable Jacqueline Mudhoni Ojwang. Miscellaneous application number 7 of 2025 in the matter of the late Honorable Zena Atetwa Rashid Dalangi.
I now invite Mr. Charles Mutinda, Head of Civil Litigation Department of the Office of the Attorney General, to make his opening submissions on behalf of the Attorney General.
Much obliged, Your Ladyship, the Honorable Chief Justice, and the presiding bench. Your Ladyship, before I proceed with my substantive submissions, I respectfully wish to make an application. Before Your Ladyship are 7 applications or miscellaneous applications. All these 7 applications bear similarities in terms of substance, in what they seek, and for the sake of saving judicial time, the leadership, I wish to apply for consolidation of the 7 applications, with miscellaneous application number 1 being the lead file. And after that, consideration of that application, my lady, I'll be able to proceed with my submissions.
We have considered the application by Mr. Charles Mutinda for consolidation of the 7 matters. Since there is no objection raised, we find it just and expedient to allow the application as such. We therefore order that the 3 applications here will be consolidated and shall be handled and disposed of together. Or that's according.
Much obliged to your leadership and members of the presiding bench. Your leadership, the Chief Justice and the members of the bench, distinguished honorable judges, members of the Judicial Service Commission present, honorable judicial officers present, the representative of the Director of Public Prosecutions, senior counsel present, the Vice President of the Law Society, distinguished members of the bar and the legal profession, including judicial staff present, families of our 7 departed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. It is with profound honor, yet with heavy hearts and grief, that I rise on behalf of the Attorney General to participate in this historic and inaugural special court tribute session for the closing of files in honor of 7 distinguished judicial officers who have departed from us. Honorable Chief Justice and members of the bench, this inaugural tribute session represents a momentous occasion in the history of Kenya's judiciary. These proceedings serve to formally acknowledge the invaluable contributions of our departed colleagues, preserve their legacies as part of the permanent judicial record, provide comfort to their families, and remind all of us who serve in the administration of justice that our work shapes communities and the nation. Honorable Chief Justice and members of the bench, the 7 judicial officers we honor today served in various capacities across the country, all of them united by common values of integrity, diligence, humility, and unwavering commitment to justice. In brief, your leadership and members of the bench, Honorable Athman Hussein served with distinction as Chief Qadi from the year 2005 until his passing on 10th July 2025. His 2 decades of service in Kwale, Malindi, Mombasa, Isiolo, and Upper Hill at Qadi's court demonstrated deep knowledge of Islamic jurisprudence combined with wisdom and cultural sensitivity. As Chief Qadi, he provided exemplary leadership to the Qadi's courts, ensuring Islamic law was administered fairly and in harmony with Kenya's constitutional framework. Honorable Kipyegon Rugut, Principal Magistrate, joined the judiciary on 13th of July 2012 and served as Principal Magistrate in Bondo, Dhiwa, Kericho, and Molo until his passing on the 22nd of October 2024. His dedication, fairness, and work ethics distinguished him. He was particularly noted for his contribution to reducing case backlogs while maintaining quality of justice, understanding that justice delayed is justice denied. Honorable Kunyuk Tito, Principal Qadi, joined the judiciary in 2013 and served as Principal Qadi in Kajiado, Isiolo, Kakuma, Kisumu, and Nakuru until his passing on 31st December 2024. His service in diverse regions, including refugee communities in Kakuma, demonstrated special sensitivity and professionalism. He built bridges through extensive research between traditional Islamic legal principles and modern constitutional governance. Honorable Chief Justice and members of the bench, we all know the story of Monica Kivuti, Principal Magistrate. She joined the judiciary on 17th of July 2013 and served as Principal Magistrate in Kiambu, Baricho, and Makandara until her tragic passing on 15th June 2024. She was known for her meticulous case management and fairness. Her death while in the line of duty at Makandara serves as a stark reminder of the risks judicial officers and all of us in the administration of justice face. Our courage and dedication exemplify the highest ideals of judicial service. She gave her life in the service of justice. Honorable Timothy Oletancho, Senior Resident Magistrate, joined the judiciary on 10th May 2001 and served for over 2 decades until his passing on 7th of November 2023. His extensive service in Taveta, City Court here at Nairobi, Makandara, Mombasa, Limuru, Garissa, and Kibera demonstrated remarkable versatility and willingness to serve wherever needed, making him an invaluable resource to the judiciary. Honorable Jacqueline Mudhoni Ojwang, Resident Magistrate, joined the judiciary on 1st November 2021 and served in Kibera, Thika Small Courts, Claims Court, and Butere until her passing on 17th March 2024. She represented the new generation of judicial officers, bringing energy and fresh perspectives to the bench. Our work in the small claims court ensured access to justice for ordinary Kenyans in commercial disputes. Honorable Zena Rashid, Resident Magistrate, joined the judiciary on 8th of August 2023 and served at Milimani Commercial Court until her passing on 20th October 2024. Despite her brief tenure, she made a significant impression. Her assignment to one of Kenya's busiest commercial courts demonstrated the judiciary's confidence in her abilities. Her loss is particularly poignant because her career held such promise. Honorable Chief Justice, distinguished members of the presiding bench, these 7 judicial officers shared fundamental values, being integrity in maintaining the highest standards, dedication in approaching their work with seriousness, compassion in recognizing the humanity of those before them, accessibility in serving diverse locations across Kenya, and excellence in continually striving to improve. Their collective legacy reminds us that judicial service is not merely a profession but a calling, a commitment to serve the people of Kenya and uphold the rule of law. That is the foundation of our democracy. Your leadership and members of the presiding bench, on behalf of the Attorney General and the government of the Republic of Kenya, I extend our deepest condolences to the families, friends, and colleagues of our departed 7 judicial colleagues. May their memory inspire all of us who serve in the administration of justice to uphold the highest standards of integrity, to approach our work with dedication and compassion, and to remember that justice affects the lives of real people every day. In their honor, your leadership and members of the presiding bench, let us renew our commitment to the Constitution, to the rule of law, and to serving the people with humility, integrity, and excellence. to Honorable Hathman Hussein, Honorable Bernard Rugut, Honorable Kunyuk Tito, Honorable Monica Kivuti, Honorable Timothy Tancho, Honorable Muthoni Ojwang, and Honorable Zena Rashid. We salute you. May their souls rest in eternal peace. Your Ladyship and members of the presiding bench, I respectfully submit.
Thank you very much, Mr. Charles Mutinda, for your submissions and kind words to our departed colleagues and messages of condolences to the family. I now invite Mr. Joseph Ryungu, Acting Deputy Director of Public Prosecutions, to make his remarks on behalf of the Director of Public Prosecutions.
Your Lordship, Honorable Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, Honorable Judges, Judicial Officers and Registrars present, Honorable Chief Registrar of the Judiciary and Directors present, the representative of the Department of the Office of the Attorney General, representative of the Senior Counsel Bar and Senior Counsels present, representative of the Law Society of Kenya, members of the family of the departed judicial officers, judicial staff present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the entire Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, the Honorable Presiding Bench, I stand before you today with a heart weighed down by a profound sense of loss, but also uplifted by the privilege of honoring the luminous lives and legacies of our departed judicial officers. The judiciary and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions are two pillars of the same template of justice. While our roles are distinct, our purpose is singular: to ensure that the scales of justice remain balanced, that the rule of law prevails, and that the rights of every citizen are protected under the shield of a fair and impartial legal system. In the hallowed courtrooms where we, as prosecutors, where we present the cases on behalf of the state, it is the judicial officer who embodies the calm, wisdom, and integrity of the law itself. They are the steady hand of the tiller, guiding the ship of justice through the often turbulent waters. The 7 cherished colleagues we remember today: Honorable Adman Abdullahim Hussein, Honorable Monica Kivuti, Honorable Bernard Kipyegon Rugut, Honorable Kunyuk John Tito, Honorable Timothy Ole Tanchu, Honorable Jacqueline Muthoni Ojwang, and Honorable Zena Atetwe Rashid Jalenga were more than just titles on a cause list. They were custodians of this sacred trust. They were patient listeners in a busy magistrate court, the seekers of clarity in a complex legal argument, and the dispensers of wisdom in Kadhi's courts. They dedicated their lives to a cause greater than themselves. Some were tragically taken from us in the most brutal manner, a stark and painful reminder of the vulnerabilities that can shadow the pursuit of justice. Their absence leaves a void in our courtrooms and in our collective legal conscience that cannot be easily filled. Today, we do not just close a file. We pause to reflect on the chapters they wrote with their service. We remember their invaluable contributions, not merely in the judgments they delivered, but in the dignity within which they served, the respect they showed to all who appeared before them, and the unwavering commitment they demonstrated to our nation. The presiding bench, to their families, friends, judicial colleagues, we offer our deepest and most heartfelt condolences. We want you to know that your loss is our loss. The legal fraternity mourns with you. We pray that you find solace in the indelible mark they left in our profession, in the countless lives they touched through their work. As we leave this ceremonial hall, let us carry their legacy forward. Let us be inspired by their dedication. Let us reaffirm our own commitment to the noble cause of justice. To do our work with the same integrity, courage, and compassion that they exemplified. May their souls find eternal peace, and may we, the stewards of justice they left behind, strive to be worthy of the foundation they helped build. Those are the submissions on behalf of the ODPP. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ryungo, for those submissions on behalf of the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions. I now invite Mr. Mwaura Kavata, the Vice President of the Law Society of Kenya, to invite Senior Counsel Barr and other speakers who will be representing the Law Society, and then thereafter make his remarks.
May it please this honorable bench, the Chief Justice and my lords of the tribute bench, allow me to call Mr. Eric Kivuva, the chairperson of the Law Society of Kenya Nairobi branch, to come and make submissions on behalf of the Law Society. Thereafter, my lady, you will allow me to also call the senior counsel present, Mrs. Zerubanu Jan Mohammed, to also come and lead the Law Society.
The Honorable Lady Justice Martha Koome, Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, members of this distinguished bench, distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, members of the judiciary, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. We gather today in solemn remembrance, united not only by grief, but by gratitude and reverence. Over the past 2 years, the judiciary has endured profound loss. Death in its indiscriminate and often brutal cause has taken from us some of our most cherished judges and judicial officers. These were individuals who served with unwavering integrity, wisdom, and devotion to justice. Their absence has left an irreplaceable void in our institutions and in our hearts. Today, we do not merely close files. We open our hearts to honor lives that were wholly committed to the service of law. We pay tribute to those who upheld the Constitution with courage, dispensed justice with compassion, and bore the weight of public trust with quiet dignity. remember our departed colleagues, those who labored long hours to ensure that every voice was heard, who mentored the next generation with patience and grace, and who stood firm in the face of adversity. These were not just roles they played, they were lives lived in pursuit of fairness, equity, and truth. I remember with deep sorrow, Principal Magistrate, the Honorable Monica Kivuti, who tragically succumbed to gunshot wounds sustained on the 13th of June 2024 while presiding over an active court session at Makadara Law Courts. Her untimely death shook the very foundation of our judiciary. Honorable Kivuti was a pillar of collegiality and wisdom, known for her unwavering support during bar bench meetings and her dedication to judicial service. Honorable Kivuti was a diligent magistrate, committing to upholding the rule of law, and a meticulous professional who mentored others and spearheaded outreach programs at Nairobi Chapel. On the morning of her passing, we were just newly elected and en route to a retreat intended to chart the course of our term. The retreat was abruptly cut short by the devastating news, a moment that marked our beginning with profound grief and renewed sense of purpose. Colleagues, I want to just make a humble request to the Honorable Chief Justice that in honor of Monica Kivuti, let us hasten the steps we have taken to improve the infrastructure at Makadara and also to reduce the congestion at Makadara Law Courts. Colleagues, we have lost many, 7 in total, of our judicial officers in the last 2 years, and their legacy lives on. In the judgments they delivered, the lives they shaped, and the standards they upheld. As we reflect on their enduring contributions, let us renew our commitment to the principles they so faithfully championed. May their memory stir within us a deeper devotion to service, a greater capacity for empathy, and an unwavering dedication to integrity. Let us be reminded that the judiciary is not merely a system. It is a community bound together by purpose and principle. To the families of our departed colleagues, we extend our deepest condolences. Your loss is our loss. May you find comfort in knowing that their service will never be forgotten. Their names will remain etched in the annals of justice. To the Honorable Zena Rashid, Honorable Muthoni Ojwang, the Honorable Monica Kivuti, the Honorable Athman Hussein, Honorable Kunyuk John Titu, Honorable Timothy Oletanju, Honorable Bernard Rugut, we honor you, we miss you, we carry forward your torch. May your souls rest in eternal peace. On behalf of the LSK Nairobi branch, I submit. Thank you.
Madam CJ, allow me to now also call the representative of the Senior Counsel Bar present, Mrs. Erubanu Jan Mohammed, to come and make her submissions on behalf of the Law Society of Kenya.
Madam Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court, your Lordships present, and with the bench before me. May the record show that my name is Jan Mohammed, on behalf of the Chair of the Senior Counsel Bar, Mr. Philip Murgor, for whose brief I hold, and I am here this afternoon with my colleague and my senior, Fred Ojiambo, Senior Counsel. May it please the Court, we gather this afternoon in this inaugural closing of the file ceremony in respect of the 7 judicial officers who were taken away from amongst us by the cruel hand of death. Already mention has been made of the work that they have done by those who have spoken before me, and repetition is not going to bring them back, but we should remember what they have done. My Lady Chief Justice and your Lordships, a closing of file ceremony typically refers to a formal event marking the end of an event, often involving a symbolic gesture signifying completion and closure. Therefore, this inaugural event is a very special ceremony to pay tribute to these departed judicial officers. These ceremonies serve to acknowledge the completion of a task or of a period, to celebrate achievements and provide a sense of closure and finality, not only to the family members, but also members of the bar and the bench. The said judicial officers were instrumental in the delivery of justice. They all sacrificed way beyond their time, also family life, and did all sorts of, made sure that they delivered the justice to the people of Kenya, with some paying the ultimate price with their life. It was one of the highest sacrifices that could have been made. The time available to this afternoon is not sufficient for me to trod through the legacy they have left behind, which has garnished the judiciary, if I may say so humbly, and the legal profession in equal measure. However, if I may, Madam, my Lady the Chief Justice, and my Lords here assembled, let me touch on the three pillars on which the judiciary must stand in order to be a voice of reason in a world ravaged by overreach and autocratic tendency. It doesn't only mean judges, it also is our other judicial officers. And I say this with specific reference to these 7 judicial officers. If it pleases the court, it is well established now that a judiciary which is efficacious is one which first will perform its professional duties freely, without intimidation, harassment, or interference. Such a judiciary will also guarantee that the judicial officers are not subject to prosecution, sanctions, or economic or other penalties for the actions taken conscientiously in accordance with their professional duties, professional standards, and ethics. They should be treated with respect and must not be identified with the cases of the parties who appear before them, but them just as lawyers should not be identified with their clients or clients' causes simply because they are fulfilling their professional obligations. This is the foundation upon which independence of the legal profession and the judiciary must be cited. These are the values and the principles to which all people of goodwill must demonstrate steadfastness and commitment to their protection. It is the only way of ensuring that lawyers and judicial officers can carry out their vital roles without fear or political retaliation or undue pressure. This calls for men and women of character, those who commit to doing so and doing justice even if the heavens come down. In discharge of my humble brief, therefore, my Lady Chief Justice and my Lords, I pray that we close the 7 judicial officers' files. We will commit to what is right and of the highest good in this republic. And as they say in Islam, Inna lillahi wa inna ilaihi raji'un, this is for the families. To him we belong and to him we return. I so pray, Honorable Court. Thank you.
The Honorable the Chief Justice and the presiding bench, my lords, allow me to start the submissions of the Law Society in addition to what the chairperson of the Nairobi branch and senior counsel have submitted, with an African proverb that those who are dead are never gone. They live amongst our shadows. The Honorable the Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, my lords of the Special Bench, judges of the Superior Courts, Kadhi courts and magistrates, as well as judicial officers, distinguished guests, senior counsels present, families and friends of our departed colleagues, good afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, we gather this afternoon in a house of law, but the business before us is deeply human. We are here to close files, but we are not here to close memories or to close the stories of service that brought our departed colleagues to this point of honor today. By your kind invitation, Madam Chief Justice, we meet to reflect and appreciate their invaluable contributions to the legal profession and the nation. On behalf of the Law Society of Kenya, I appear here today to pay tribute, to mourn and to commit ourselves to carrying forward the work for which they gave their lives and their strength. The closing of a file is a familiar act to all of us in this room. For advocates, magistrates, judges, and kadhis, it usually means that the dispute before us has been resolved, that the court has spoken with finality, that justice, however imperfectly, has been attempted. Today, however, we close files of a different kind. We close the institutional files of the Honorable Athman Abdul Halim Hussein, the Chief Justice, the Honorable Monica Kivuti, Principal Magistrate, the Honorable Bernard Kipyegon Rugut, Principal Magistrate, the Honorable Kunyuk John Tito, Principal Kadhi, the Honorable Timothy Oletanju, Senior Resident Magistrate, the Honorable Jacqueline Mudhoni Ojwang, Resident Magistrate, and the Honorable Zena Atwetwe Rashid Jalenga, Resident Magistrate. Their work in our courts is complete. The cause lists that once bore their names no longer do. Their pens have been laid down, their voices are silent in our open courts. Yet a file may close in the registry, but the jurisprudence, the example, and the moral force of a life well lived remain open forever. Today we close files not to bury legacies, but to lift them up to the institution and to the country. These are the kinds of lives that built, defended, and dignified the administration of justice in Kenya. Each of the officers we honor today served at the true front line of justice. For many Kenyans, justice is not experienced in the reported decision of appellate courts, but in the daily work of magistrates and kadhis. It is experienced at the traffic court, at the family and children's court, in the small claims court, in criminal mentions on a day-to-day that decide whether an accused person will go home or will be remanded in a cell, in succession causes that determine whether a widow keeps her house or loses it. It is experienced in the kadhi courts where questions of faith, family, and identity are resolved with both legal insight as well as spiritual sensitivity. Our departed colleagues gave the front line a human face. They lived out the simple but profound truth that justice is not an abstraction. It is the way a judicial officer speaks to a terrified accused person, to a grieving parent, and to a frustrated litigant. Some of them left us after long, faithful service. Others were taken in sudden and brutal circumstances, in events that shocked the conscience of this nation and reminded us that to serve in the judiciary is at times to stand in the direct line of danger. When a judicial officer, my lady, the Chief Justice, is attacked or is killed in the discharge of duty, it is not only a personal tragedy, it is an affront attack on the Constitution itself, on Article 159, which vests judicial authority in our courts. It is an attack on every Kenyan who depends on courts as a last refuge where every other door has closed. As a bar, Madam Chief Justice and the tribute bench, we condemn without qualification every act of violence, intimidation, or threat directed at a judicial officer, their staff, or their families. Their safety is not a privilege, it is a constitutional imperative. Your Ladyship, Madam Chief Justice and my Lords of the Tribute Bench, even without rehearsing individual biographies in detail, we can say with confidence that the 7 judicial officers we honor today embodied a set of shared virtues that speak both to the persons and the institution that they served. Courage in decision making. Every judicial officer knows that to decide is to disappoint someone. Yet our departed colleagues continued day after day to write rulings and deliver judgments, often under scrutiny and sometimes under pressure. They remind us that judicial courage is not always dramatic. It is often quiet, patient, and consistent. Diligence in service. They handled overwhelming cause lists, limited resources, and demanding litigants. Yet they kept their faith one way or the other, with their oath to serve without fear or favor, bias or ill will. In them, we see the daily heroism that rarely makes headlines but keeps the justice system alive. Humanity on the bench. Whether in a criminal, family, children's, or commercial matter, they met people in their most vulnerable moments. Their humility in how they listened, how they explained, and how they exercised discretion may never be recorded in law reports, but it is written in the hearts of those who pass through their courts. Madam CJ and the Honorable Tribute Bench, faithfulness to the Constitution and to the faith traditions. Our Chief Qadi and the Principal Qadi, for instance, brought to the bench a unique fusion of faith and law, of spiritual leadership and constitutional fidelity. Their work reminds us that our legal system is enriched, not weakened, when it honors diversity while remaining anchored to the Bill of Rights. Collectively, these officers show us that the strength of the judiciary does not lie only in famous cases and landmark judgments. It lies in thousands of quiet, faithful decisions made day in, day out in small courtrooms across the Republic of Kenya. To the families gathered here today, spouses, children, parents, siblings, colleagues, and friends, I now speak directly to you. We know that the cost of judicial service is not paid by the officers alone. It is borne by the families who live with late nights, security concerns, emotional strain, and in some cases, the fear that comes with sensitive cases. You have given this country a gift it can never fully repay you. Your loved ones did not only work for the judiciary, they worked for the people of Kenya. They carried the burdens of others so that the social fabric of this country would hold intact. On behalf of the Law Society of Kenya, I extend our deepest condolences and our deepest gratitude. We recognize your pain and we acknowledge that the grief you carry is not abstract. It is daily, practical, and personal. And this I say, Madam CJ and the Tribute Bench, that the 7, in fact, were also members of the Law Society of Kenya. We urge that alongside this ceremony of honor, there must be a consistent and tangible support for bereaved families of judicial officers, financial as well as psychosocial and institutional support. A nation that honors its dead in words must honor their families in deeds. To the colleagues who worked with them, the magistrates, the qadis, the judges, the registrars, and staff, we recognize that you have lost more than co-workers. You have lost friends and partners in a demanding vocation. The emotional toll of losing a colleague in a tragic or sudden circumstance is real. As we speak of institutional reforms, Madam CJ and the Tribute Bench, we must also speak frankly about mental health support and pastoral care for those who serve in our courts. Honorable Chief Justice and my Lords, a closing file ceremony must not only be retrospective, it must also be prospective. The best way to honor our departed colleagues is to confront with honesty the conditions that make judicial service so demanding and at times so very dangerous. From the bar's perspective, 3 issues stand out: One, Madam CJ, and the tribute bench is the security of judicial officers and court premises. We must continuously review and strengthen security protocols in and around courts, and this includes adequate screening and control of weapons entering the court premises, clear and rehearsed emergency response plans in the event of threats or attack, effective coordination between the judiciary, the National Police Service, and other security agencies, and a special attention to high-risk courts and high-risk matters, including family, land, and criminal disputes where tensions easily escalate. A good example of this is the Kamiti Law Court. We urge that the tragic events that have claimed or threatened the lives of judicial officers be treated not as isolated incidences, but as triggers for systemic improvements in security across the board. Madam CJ and the tribute bench will also note that the Law Society has also not been singled out in these attacks. We have lost many of our colleagues, including the last one, Mr. Chalom Bobu, who was felled by a single assailant along Bogani Road. Madam CJ and the tribute bench, a magistrate or a Qadi dealing with hundreds of files, often with limited research support and infrastructural, faces enormous pressure. When we speak about independence of the judiciary, we must also speak about the basic, the reasonable workload, the decent facilities, the functional ICT and support services that allow judicial officers to focus on decision-making rather than personal survival. As the bar, we are ready to partner with the judiciary and other stakeholders to advocate for the resources required. A country that invests billions in elections must also invest adequately in the courts that give those elections a legitimacy. In recent years, Madam CJ and the tribute bench, we have witnessed open attacks on judicial officers, not only physical attacks, but also verbal, political, as well as digital attacks. Criticism of judgment is legitimate in any living democracy. Vilification of judges and magistrates as individuals is not. We must draw that line clearly. Political actors, public officers, and even advocates must remember that words can incite, that hostility directed at a named judicial officer at most and often usually translate in the real world into actual threats and violence. The Law Society of Kenya thus reaffirms before this tribute bench our unwavering commitment to defend the independence of the judiciary. Where judicial officers are threatened, intimidated, or unfairly attacked for doing their work, we will stand with them, we will speak for them, and where necessary, we will litigate to protect them. Your Ladyship and my lords of the tribute bench, this ceremony also calls the living to account. For the bench, our departed colleagues say to you, guard your conscience, guard your independence, and guard your humanity. Do not allow fear or criticism, fear of transfer, or fear of social media to bend the arc of your judgment away from what you know to be right and true. For the bar, they say to us, remember that how you practice law affects how others live and how others serve. We must desist from conduct that weaponizes procedure, that fuels hostility against judicial officers, or that undermines public confidence in courts for short-term gains. Let the lives and the deaths of these officers remind us that the relationship between the bench and the bar is not transactional. It is a shared constitutional trust. We are co-stewards of the promise of Article 48 that every person has a right to access justice, and in Article 159 that the judicial authority is exercised in the name of the people and for the people of Kenya. Among those present today here, I take note of young magistrates, Qadis, registrars, law students, and as well as newly admitted advocates. To you, this ceremony must be more than a ritual. It must be a call. It must be a charge. You must never know national fame. Your name may never appear in a law report, but every bond that you uphold, every child you protect, every fair hearing you give, every delay you reduce, every litigant you treat with respect, and those acts will be acts of national building. Our departed colleagues have run their race, Madam CJ and the tribute bench. They have shown us that one judicial officer sitting in one small courtroom can change the trajectory of a life, a family, and sometimes an entire community. Take their example seriously. Let it correct you when you have grown cynical. Let it encourage you when you feel overwhelmed. Let it remind you that justice is a long game, and that what you do in your daily work truly matters. On behalf of the Law Society of Kenya, Madam CJ, and my lords of the tribute bench, I extend once more our deepest condolences, our highest respect, and our firm resolve that their deaths may not have been in vain. May their souls rest in eternal peace. May their families find comfort. May their colleagues find strength. And may this institution which they served so very faithfully be made stronger by their memory. Madam CJ and the tribute bench, on behalf of the Law Society, we do submit. I thank you, Madam CJ.
My lady, with humility, we have representatives from the 7 families. We will be addressed by Mr. Shakue Kahale Kombo, who will represent the family of Honorable Athman Abdullahim Hussein.
Please come and use the podium.
Thank you so much. My Lady Justice, Hon Martha Koome, the Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, the tribute bench and other judicial officers, the Office of the Attorney General representative is here, LSK representative, Senior Counsel Bar representative, my fellow family members of the departed family members. Good afternoon again. First and foremost, Madam Chief Justice, my ladyship, please do allow me, on behalf of the family of our brother, a departed brother, Hon Abdulhalim Hussein Othman, to register our profound gratitude for allowing us, for inviting us to this inaugural tribute forum of the judiciary. We feel part and parcel of the judiciary, and it's our prayers, utmost prayers, that Almighty God shower you with his honest and abundant blessings. We are grateful. We can't thank you enough, and we shall remain ever grateful, besides being elated. My Lady Justice, our departed brother was the Chief Qadi of the Republic of Kenya, who served for 20 years, that is 2 decades, and 2 years as the Chief Justice of our great Republic of Kenya, who passed on the night of 9th of July, 2025. We are so much humbled for the words of compliment that we heard from you, yourself, Lady Justice, and the officers who have spoken here. One, that he contributed to the jurisprudence as the first Chief Qadi of Kenya to have contributions in the jurisprudence. 2, with the words of Attorney General Representative Mr. Mutinda, if I'm not wrong, that he served as the Chief Justice of Kenya with distinction and other words of compliment. He served with wisdom, and his service was exemplary. To us as the family, with his dad, my uncle, being seated there, we feel so much honored and humbled. Now, because in the interest of time, I'll try to speak, but I'll try to speak, and in the interest of time, I'll be as brief as possible. One, we departed Kenya for India for the treatment of the Chief Justice on the 9th of July, 2024. That was on a Friday. And we reached India on 10th, that was on a Saturday, where I admitted my brother, and we started the diagnosis immediately. But by then, the procedures for the cover were not complete from the judiciary, because our journey, by the grace of God, Almighty God, Allah, it took us only 3 days to prepare for the journey and to leave Kenya for India. And that was on a weekend. But by Monday, that was 12th, Sunday was a weekend. On a Monday, 12th of July, 2024, the judiciary of Kenya had all protocols done, went out of the way to ensure that the treatment was covered in its entirety. And that was done, and it happened, and we really appreciate. So please allow us, again, to express our profound appreciation and gratitude, my Lady Justice, to your person and the judiciary in general for according our brother such an immense support as far as his treatment is concerned. That was not enough. We reached a point where the treatment was going over and above what was approved for his cover, both inpatient and outpatient. And again, after simple communication, the judiciary and Madam Winfred Mukaya, that is the registrar, I hope, right? Chief Registrar. And I really appreciate you approved an ex gratia of Kenya shillings 700,000, 600,000 and 100,000 inpatient and outpatient respectively, ex gratia. We really appreciate. That means our entire treatment was covered by the judiciary without going out of pocket, and it was huge amounts of money. If I tell you, if you allow me just for 1 minute, you know, there is a diagnosis for blood diagnosis that we did. It was a very specialized test that we did. It was done by his primary doctor after a discussion. And they had to analyze in simple language. I don't want to use a technical language for this medical term. They analyzed more than 400 genes, close to 500 genes, each and every gene, almost 500 genes, so that they provide him with what you call a targeted treatment, a very specialized treatment. And it's a very expensive test. But we did it under judiciary's cover. And they got the results in the, we got the results in very shortest time that was possible. Also, let me speak it here. I would like the judicial circles and the legal fraternity to know what the judiciary did to our departed brother. What they did. They went out of their way. You know, at a certain point, we had to, the primary doctor, hematologist and BMT specialist, he had to talk to an inventor of a new drug in the US where he studied. He talked to the inventor himself to get us those new drugs. And we got those new drugs, and they sent the drugs within 4 days to India. And again, the judiciary catered for the expenses of those drugs. There were 14 injections. In a nutshell, the judiciary in Kenya, under your leadership, Madam Martha Koome, the Chief Justice, and the President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, as a family, we are forever indebted for what you accorded in the treatment of our brother. And even when after coming back to Kenya, yeah, the last time he was admitted, that was in late June, mid-June here in Aga Khan, in Nairobi, and Aga Khan University Hospital in Nairobi. The cover was exhausted. But again, the judiciary, we thank you a lot, went out of its way, because we had to pay out of pocket Kenya shillings 700,000 over and above the cover that had been exhausted. But the judiciary again went out of their way, and they settled that bill of 700,000. We have no words to express our gratitude, and we can't thank you enough. To wind up, in conclusion, as a family of the late Abdul Halim, Hon Abdul Halim Hussein Othman, we like to tell everybody in this forum, that the judiciary did not stand with our brother Abdul Halim, Hon Abdul Halim Hussein Othman. They stood with the office of the Chief Qadi of Kenya, which is the entire Muslim populace. We really appreciate. Thank you, and may God bless you.
My Lady Honorable Purity Kosgei, on behalf of Honorable Bernard Kipyegon Rugut.
Your Ladyship, the Honorable Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, Honorable Judges present, Honorable Commissioners of the Judicial Service Commission, Honorable colleagues, all protocols observed. My name is Purity Kosgei. I am the widow of the late Honorable Bernard Rugut. I'm also a member of the judiciary, as I serve as a senior principal magistrate at Kabarnet Law Court. I'm here today with my children. Perhaps I can just ask them to wave. Some of my family members are also following virtually. Firstly, I wish to sincerely thank the Judiciary Administration for this kind gesture of honoring our departed colleagues. 22nd of October 2024 is not just a date in the calendar, It is the day that changed our lives forever, me and my children. And one of the toughest questions I've faced since that loss is one of the questions that one of my kids asked. Why is it that God does not have a visiting day in heaven so that we can go and visit our Father and then leave him with God? And before this loss, I used to read the Bible and gloss over verses that spoke about the promises of God concerning widows and the fatherless. But as I stand here today, I wish to attest to the fact that the promises of God are true, that indeed he is the father of the fatherless and he is a defender of the widows. I also wish to say that this grief has been heavy, but I have found purpose in the grief. Bernard was a towering intellectual. Bernard was a wonderful husband and father to our children. Bernard was a distinguished judicial officer. And so to honor his legacy, I will carry on with the good things that I learned from him. I will raise our children well. My purpose is to raise them to be resilient children with core beliefs and to know that God is our true north. In terms of work, I will continue to promote the values of social justice and to do my work with empathy to honor his legacy. And I also wish to take this opportunity to sincerely thank all of you for your support, even as we have carried on with this journey. May God keep his legacy burning. May God bless the judiciary. May God bless Kenya. Thank you.
Mr. Omar Sakwa, on behalf of Honorable Kunyuk Tito.
Good afternoon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh for my brothers, Muslim brothers. I'll ride, Chief Justice, I'll ride on the protocols which have already been set. My name is Meda Omar Sakwa, and here on behalf of the family of Tito Kunyuk. Kunyuk was more than a friend to me. I'm not a relative to him, but because of a situation in life, we came and we met and we became very close friends. Fortunately, when he was transferred to come to Nakuru, I was the person who was in charge to take care of everything that he needed that time. Within a span of time, he got stroke. Then we started the journey all that time. And what I learned, especially from this journey, is like your family is very, very important. Your family is very, very important, especially to this journey. Because personally, I worked with him from day one here in Nairobi, went to Eldoret till the last minute. When I was invited to come to this function, it is now 6 days. We were having a birthday of his son, Rumi. Was born in November 13. Now he's 2 years old. Listening to my brother talking about the 9th of July, when our Chief Qadi passed on, it was my birthday. So sometimes things happened, you might think it is a coincidence. But in this journey, there's that moment of reflection. I didn't know him. Later we met. Then we become very close friends. And it's like I promised that time, when the situation reached at a level that it was, I promised him that I will walk with him till the last minute. And God gave me that power and strength to walk with him till the last minute. But now he has gone. But he has a young family. He left a young family. And for us, especially because I was a key person moving up and down during his medication, personally, on behalf of the Tito family, let me extend my sincere gratitude to judiciary for the support they gave to us. Anytime there was an issue, we used to call, and we were receiving the support. So for that, we say thank you so much. But now it's like, now he has gone, and he has left the family. So I think now it's like the focus should be, how will they rise at least to become whatever they want to become? Because I remember in a forum like this one in Nakuru, when we were closing the file, his eldest son, and then his firstborn son, Mahmoud, said that he wanted to become a lawyer. He wanted to become a lawyer. There's aspect of saying and aspect of walking the steps to become a lawyer. So for me, it's like, yes, you helped us during the medication. Now, there's that level now we are in that of raising these youngsters to be whatever they want to be. So for me, it's like still, we need your support, and also, especially members of the bench, at some level, they really helped us. Something that we cannot forget. So, in the interest of time, for me, it's like, once again, we thank the judiciary for the support they gave it to us. Also, extending my thanks, my sincere gratitude also to members of the judiciary, SACCO, and also my close friend who is next to me, Mr. Honorable Abdul Jabbar Hussein, because we were three of us. We were walking with our brother Tito. It was him, Honorable Abdul Jabbar Hussein, and also Rashid Kokonya. So for me, it's like, I don't want to talk so much. It's like, thank you so much, judiciary. Thank you so much, members of the bench. And inshallah, we continue praying that you will still support us when the time comes. I think with those few remarks, let me stop it there.
Mr. Mutima Kangata, on behalf of Honorable Monica Kivuti.
Thank you, the Honorable the Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya, and the members of the tribute bench. Like you heard, my name is Mutimo Kangata, but today I stand here. I'm a member of the senior bar, but I stand here today not as a lawyer, not a member of the bar, but as a member of the family of the late Monica Kivuti. Now, for those who may not know, Monica is my departed wife. And this occasion is particularly special to me and the family whom I represent here today. The other members of the family could not be able to attend because they were already out of the country when the invite was sent to us. Lady Chief Justice, I'll be very brief, but my few remarks would not be good enough, would not be adequate, if I failed to flash back to the events of 13th of June last year at Makandala Law Courts. I make reference to that, my lady, because it is my hope that the judiciary has had occasion to reflect on the circumstances that led to Monica's death through shooting, and that there has been a reflection on what security lapses may have led to the incident of 13th of June last year. I will reiterate the observations of the Vice President of the Law Society and the Chairman of the Nairobi Bar, that let not the death of Monica be in vain. It would be extremely sad if a similar incident was to be repeated because of the failure to have learned lessons that ought to be learned from the incident of 13th of June last year. So on behalf of the family, I plea to the judiciary to do whatever it takes to see to it that all judicial officers, regardless of their ranks, are secure, not just at the places of work, but elsewhere as may be possible. We know it is not an easy task, but at least at the place of work, the officers should be able to work without fear and feel secure. I think the entry and exit from the courts, in my view, is very critical. I speak as a practicing lawyer, and we see how we come in and we get out of the courts. And it is those lapses that are likely to be taken advantage of by those who may not mean well for the members of the bench. Having said that, my Lady Chief Justice, I wish to thank the judiciary for the support that this far has been accorded to us. You stood up with us at that time, last year, and you have continued to stand with us. And for that, my lady, I thank you very much. I said I'm not standing here as a member of the bar, and therefore I cannot submit. Thank you, my lady.
Mrs. Patricia Tanchu for Honorable Timothy Ole Tanchu.
The Honorable Chief Justice, the President of the Supreme Court, the presiding bench, the Honorable Judicial Officers, the Office of the AG, NTPP, and the families present, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name is Patricia Wanja Kadurima. I've never, you call him Timothy Lieutenant Ole Tanchu, I always called him Chief. From as early as when I was 19, because I got married to him when I'm 19 years old. I'm here with my family. I'm here with Gabriel. That's the young man he left when he was in Form 4. And we are grateful that by the grace of God, he was able to go through. There's another young man, Morgan Koikai, Oleletina. He's not here with us, but he's following online. Allow me to register my appreciation for the extended invite to be here. From a human psychology point of view, mourning and grief has no limit. And I will say this to the family of the departed. Don't civilize your emotions. Don't educate your emotions. As they come, allow them to be. The more you want to ignore and push them behind, the more it will haunt you. So when it is that moment you feel overwhelmed, when it is that occasion, the first year is always a difficult year, because you imagine they would have been here, what would we have been doing? Or what the kind of thing that would have been happening for the family. Don't civilize your emotions. Don't educate your emotions. Allow everybody to go through the cycle. Time brings clarity. Time brings acceptance. To the widows and widowers, may the grace of God be sufficient. To extend to that, I would want to speak to us about radical acceptance. Radical acceptance. When Chief fell sick, it was not easy. I looked at it, went to India, we had to start the diagnosis all over again, stage the cancer, listen to different doctors come together and prescribe a protocol of treatment. As a caregiver, everybody will call and ask, how is the patient doing? And nobody remembers to ask how the caregiver is doing, unfortunately. I'll remember going to the bathroom, putting on the shower, and flashing so that he doesn't hear me crying, because there's a young man left behind who is in Form 4. There's a young man I had to leave, he was in class 7. I don't have a in-stay house help, so I had to get somebody very quickly, a stranger, to be left with the child and take the journey to India. Went to Artemis. I observed the treatment. I must admit I can be petty when it comes to details. And when I listened to the treatment that he was going to be given, I said, hell no, we need a second opinion. And we moved to Fortis, where we started all over again. I remember meeting one of you with a son. And you become a family, you walk the journey. For those who may not know, what actually prolongs treatment and what takes a lot of money, the caregiver must understand what is happening. The doctors will engage to the extent the caregiver seem to understand, so that they help each other. So when you go there and you're not able to follow a few things, the treatment can take forever. Because if you go for a checkup and the blood tests are not promising, you have to take more time to stay. So sometimes it's not the treatment, it is the logistics, the issues of housing and all that. So it's good to be aware. We came back and it was well. Close to 5 years, and it came knocking again. And why am I talking about radical acceptance? There are times that come that we know good and bad are twins and they walk together. A story is told of a man who lived alone in a lonely place. One day there was a knock at his door, and he opened and there was a beautiful lady, well dressed, lovely ornament, nice scent of perfume, and he was excited and welcomed her in. And he was very, very kind to take care of her. And before he could start setting up the table, there was another knock at the door. And they looked at each other. Were you expecting a visitor? I said, no. They opened, and there's another lady directly opposite of the one who had come first. Not lovely, not beautiful, no the perfume, no ornaments. Said, what's wrong with you? I have a guest here. You need to go away. He said, I'm not going away. If I'm going away, she must go away with me. If she's going to stay, then I'm going to stay. Human beings, we fear pain, physical, emotional, psychological. We fear pain. But that is what keeps us in it longer. When you accept when things cannot change, it helps you to handle things better, because now you're able to channel the energy other than put so much energy to resist and fight. You look at things differently and you accept what has happened. When it was his time to rest, and we hand a word on that Sunday, very early in the morning, and he explained the shivers he was experiencing, I knew we have an infection that has gotten to the bloodstream, and that can be tricky. The immune system was low. I knew we are compromised. And there's one thing I always say: every day and every hour, you are faithful, God. And whatever this is, or I pray, is for strength and courage to carry through. Thank you for inviting us. Thank you for having us here today. It's a great way to close, even for us, because every time you see judiciary, of course it crosses your mind. Feel comforted, the family. To the colleagues, we appreciate the extended grace. I looked at it and I said, I do not have a financial burden left, because other people are left with hospital bills and they have to give things. And I looked at the young man, I said, God, he is 18, he is yet to turn 18. The other one is at 23. And I told myself, I've not been left with very young ones, so I count my blessings and name them one by one. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Mr. Johnson Ojwang, on behalf of Honorable Jacqueline Muthoni Ojwang.
Good afternoon, everyone. The Honorable Chief Justice of the Republic of Kenya and the President of the Supreme Court, the judges who have accompanied the Chief Justice, the CRJ, and the advocates who are present, and the commissioner. I can identify one commissioner here present. I am not a very new person in the judiciary. I'm Johnson Ojwang. I'm here with my family. They can wave. My son is there, the engineer. Is the one Mudoni is following. Mine is very, very short. Jacqueline was a very bright lady. When she was in school, Egoji, because I live in Meru, I reside in Meru, but I was born in Mufangano Island, for those people who have gone to Kisumu. When she was in Egoji Girls, and when she was in Form 3, I was telling her, Jacqueline, I normally call her Sonny because she was named after my mother-in-law. Why is it that you are not studying? Then she told me, Daddy, don't worry, because one of these days I will join you in the judiciary. Then I was telling her, why do you say that you will join me in judiciary? You are not studying. Then she says, don't worry, I will go through that one. And that is exactly what Jacqueline did. And when she got the marks which could enable her to go to Eldoret Moi University, she said, did I tell you, Dad, that I'm going to go through this one and you did not believe me? So she did what she was telling me. So when Jacqueline finished a degree of law, she went to Kenya School of Law. She practiced for some times, and my time to leave the judiciary was also I was about to exit the judiciary by then. I must be very thankful to the judiciary that barely 4 months when I left. In fact, we were just joking with Jacqueline, and Jacqueline told me, oh, Daddy, let me just try. And she was successful. So, to cut the story short, Jacqueline, when she got appointed, I came with her in Nairobi, and she told me, Dad, she was very humble, don't tell people what I'm doing. Don't tell them where I'm working. I just want to remain what I am. So Jacqueline, I used sometimes to joke with her, hey, Honorable. I said, Dad, why do you call me Honorable? Call me by my name. So she was just simple like that. And when Jacqueline passed on, because I've been in the judiciary for some times, I was so surprised because I saw through social media, one of the judicial officers says, hey, Ojuang, I normally, around dawn, Pole sana. I say, why is it that he's telling me Pole sana? I just didn't get it right. Then a few minutes, because I normally put my phone on silent, I got a very sad news from one of my relatives that I'm needed in Eldoret because Jacqueline cannot even talk. But he was just hiding me because Jacqueline was already dead. I said, what is this? I can just agree with what the other speakers just said. Some of these things, you must accept them. because my wife was going to the church. I said, let me call my wife. This is something which I cannot bear. I didn't know how to start. But I thank the judiciary that they stood with me. They stood with the family. They came, those who came in numbers, the judges and the magistrates. I also thank the Honorable Chief Justice because you consoled me. You really made my heart to know that judiciary is actually taking care of everyone. And to the people of Mfangano, Jacqueline was the only lady and a female magistrate and the only magistrate in Mfangano Highland to work as a magistrate. Mfangano is orphan. Mfangano doesn't have anybody. They were actually so surprised that they were having someone they will call the judge one time, because it is a marginalized island on the side of Uganda for those people who have come there. But it's also a very beautiful place to visit, because some people who came there, even right now, they are telling me, when is the memorial service for Jacqueline? Because I said that one time God will give me money, we are going to establish Jacqueline Memorial Hospital, because the MP there and my nephew had proposed, so that it can also be like a memorial for Jacqueline. Jacqueline was a loving and humble. She was not ready to confront anybody. She was very, very lovely daughter of mine. And I really sometimes, today you are closing our file. On my side, it will remain opened forever and ever. Amen. Thank you so much.
Ms. Nancy Abbas, on behalf of Honorable Zena Rashid.
The Honorable Chief Justice, and all protocol observed. Good evening. My name is Nancy Abbas. I stand to honor Honorable Zena Rashid Atwete Jalenga. I remember Honorable Zena Atwete Jalenga as she was more than a family to me. I met her when I was too young, and we walked with her in a journey of life. I met her when she was still an advocate. We worked together in her farm, and later on, when she joined judiciary, she told me to join her to judiciary and help her, as she was physical disabled. So I remember most of the times the hospital was part of our home, and in most of occasions we used to do her work at hospital She was that kind of a person who never believes in tomorrow. And she believed in service to people. And sometimes she was that kind of a person who could motivate me. And I remember last year when she was critically ill, she told me I take her to India. And when we went to India, she told me that I need to go back to school because she might not be there for me for long. So when we came back, I took that step and went to school. And yeah, it was more than a disbelief when she passed on, just one day after my admission to school, that I was called that Zena was dead when I was in class. I couldn't believe. I switched off my phone and yeah, I didn't make my way home because somehow she was a source of happiness to me. And sometimes I even question God, why her? Because I can't count how many times I had to fast, I had to cry for her sake, just asking God to give her a second chance. As we all know, all people grieve differently. And when you meet with a person, your relationship is always different. For her, to me, she was like a mother to me, a sister, a friend, everything you can call to this world. And even in her burial day, I was still in disbelief. I couldn't talk so much. As you all know, people grieve differently. Some may take a month, others may take a year, and some is a pain you have to ask your soul to accept so that you can live for it too forever. I want to thank the Chief Justice for honoring Honorable Zena Rashid. As she always smiles, I know where she is, she's so happy. And may her soul rest in peace.
My Lady with Humility, Honorable Caroline Kabucho, the Registrar Magistrates Court, is joining us online.
Honorable the Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, Honorable Justice Martha Koome, members of the distinguished bench for the closing of file ceremony for our judicial officers, the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, members of the Commission, members of the Law Society of Kenya, distinguished magistrates present, and all honorable judges, and ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We stand together today in a moment of solemn respect and deep reflection of the lives of our departed colleagues, Honorable Athman Abdullahi Hussein, Honorable Bernard Kipyegon Bugut, Honorable Kunyuk John Tito, Honorable Monica Kibuti, Honorable Timothy Oletanju, Honorable Jacqueline Mudhoni Ojwang, and Honorable Zena Atetwe Rashid. This administrative act of formally closing the files of our departed judicial officers is far more than a routine duty. It is an opportunity to pause and tenderly honor the lives and the service of our colleagues. Each judicial officer I want us to know that
My Lady, the Chief Justice and President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, Honorable Justice Martha Koome, distinguished judges presiding over this bench, honorable members of the Judicial Service Commission, represented here today by Commissioner Evelyn Olwande, distinguished judges present, I recognize the head of litigation, the office of the AG, the acting deputy director DPP, members of the senior council bar, members of the Law Society of Kenya, represented here today, distinguished judges, esteemed judicial officers, my colleagues, families and friends of our departed colleagues. Today marks a solemn and historic moment for the judiciary as we hold this inaugural special tribute session to honor judicial officers who passed away while in service. My Lady, the Chief Justice, on behalf of the entire body of judicial officers, I sincerely thank you for accepting the proposal to convene this special court session. During your tenure, your leadership has steadfastly upheld the tradition of honoring departed judges and senior counsel. Extending this honor to our judicial officers affirms your commitment to recognizing their dedicated service, offering comfort to their families, and ensuring that their contributions are preserved in our institutional memory. We humbly request that this practice be institutionalized as a permanent fixture of our judicial tradition. We assemble today in remembrance to honor 7 distinguished members of our judiciary family. We assemble today to formally close the files of these officers, and this act signifies far more than the completion of an administrative process. It is a profound gesture of institutional respect. It is a collective acknowledgement that their contributions to the administration of justice were meaningful, valued, and worthy of lasting commemoration. As we honor the following judicial officers, I would like to pay tribute to each and every one of them. Honorable Jacqueline Muthoni Ojwang is remembered for her warmth and unwavering kindness. Her service at Butere, Kibera, and Thika Law Courts reflected a rare blend of empathy and professional excellence. She touched many lives within the judiciary and beyond, leaving behind a legacy of integrity and humanity. Honorable Bernard Kipyegon Rugut, a quiet, diligent, and deeply committed judicial officer. Honorable Rugut served in Bondo, Nthiwa, Kericho, and later at Molo Law Courts with exemplary professionalism. Over 12 years, he embodied fairness, dedication, and humility. His gentle disposition, coupled with his steadfast devotion to duty, left an enduring impact on those he served and those who served alongside him. Honorable Tito Kunyuk distinguished himself as a scholar, a teacher, and a Kadhi whose intellectual contributions transcended the courtroom. His writings, mentorship, and central role in shaping the Kenya Judiciary Academy curriculum secured him an honored place in our jurisprudential development. He is remembered not only for his scholarship, but also for his humility, virtue, and commitment to knowledge. Honorable Zena Atetwe Rashid Jalenga exemplified resilience, courage, and extraordinary devotion to service. Even in illness, she continued to work, insisting on attending to her duties so that the wheels of justice would not stall. She championed inclusivity and led the Bar Bench Committee at Milimani Commercial Courts with distinction. Her life, though brief in the judiciary, illuminated the path for many. Honorable Monica Kivuti's tragic death in the line of duty remains one of the most painful and defining moments in our recent history as an institution. She served with integrity, patriotism, and unwavering sense of responsibility until her final moments. Her passing was not only a personal loss to the judiciary, it was a stark institutional awakening. It compelled us to confront with renewed urgency the reality that the safety and security of judicial officers is not merely an administrative concern, but a foundational pillar of judicial independence and effective justice delivery. Her courage, sacrifice, and dedication have since galvanized the judiciary to undertake a comprehensive rethinking of our security ecosystem. Guided by that painful lesson, we have strengthened our resolve to institutionalize robust security standards that safeguard every judicial officer and staff member as they execute their constitutional mandate. Her legacy continues to shape our strategic security posture. It reminds us that those who stand daily as guardians of justice must themselves be shielded by a system that values and protects their lives. Justice cannot thrive where those who deliver it are exposed and vulnerable. Her sacrifice anchors our collective commitment to ensuring that no officer will ever again face such danger without the full protection of the institution that they serve. Honorable Athman Abdullahim Hussein is remembered for his sincerity, humility, and quiet yet steadfast service to the judiciary. His professionalism and gentle character left a deep impression on those he worked with. His passing reminds us of the profound human contributions that sustain the administration of justice. Honorable Timothy Oletanchu was widely regarded as a brilliant practitioner, a mentor, a counselor, and a man of exceptional wisdom. His contribution to the development and administration of the law was significant and widely respected within the profession. He nurtured many, worked collaboratively with colleagues, and was admired for his intellect, kindness, and generosity of spirit. His passing leaves the judiciary poorer. Though these officers served in different jurisdictions and brought with them varied talents and experiences, they were united by a singular calling: to uphold justice with integrity, courage, and fidelity to the Constitution. Their files record their work, but their lives testify to their unwavering commitment to the rule of law. To their families, the judiciary extends its deepest condolences. We recognize the pain of your loss and acknowledge the sacrifices you made in supporting their service to this great nation. We stand with you and promise to keep their legacies alive. To all members of the judiciary family, as we close these files, we do not close the memory of our dear colleagues. Let their lives testify to an unwavering commitment to the rule of law. May we honor them not only by recalling their service, but by striving to embody the values of integrity, courage, and dedication they so honorably fulfilled. May the souls of our dear colleagues, Honorable Ojwang, Honorable Rugut, Honorable Kunyuk, Honorable Rashid, Honorable Kivuti, Honorable Athman Hussein, and Honorable Oletanchu rest in eternal peace. Thank you.
The President, Kenya Magistrates and Judges Association, Honorable Justice Peter Mulwa.
My Lady, the Honorable Chief Justice, my Lords, members of the tribute bench, my Lady, allow me to ride on the protocols which are being well laid out by the Honorable the Chief Registrar, Frida Mokaya. This evening, we participate in these historic proceedings, not just as an institution, but as a family in mourning and a family in resolve. We honor 7 pillars of our judiciary with profound feeling of individual and corporate sense of loss and responsibility. At a personal level, during my tenure as a registrar of the subordinate courts, the department were not just names on a register, not names on a roster. They were my colleagues, and they were my responsibility. We were brother and sister soldiers in the trenches of our shared mission for justice. At the time, I bore the solemn duty of looking at the map of our nation's justice needs and placing them where they were most needed. My Lady, to now stand and close their files is a duty no one will pleasure, but a solemn duty all the same and necessary. They are brothers and sisters we all knew too well, whose voices we recognized in the hallways of our workspaces. They were colleagues to whom this institution placed immense trust, the trust of dispensing justice to all without favor, without ill will or affection. This tribute is a final deployment order of sorts, not to a court station, but to our eternal memory and a renewed commitment to those of us who have been left. I'll briefly give their individual tributes, which may basically mirror on what the Chief Registrar said, possibly because of the positions we held when we interacted with them. Honorable Timothy Oletanchu. Timothy was the embodiment of a judicial workhorse. Looking at the list of court stations he has served, from the coastal plains of Mombasa to the arid frontiers of Garissa, we can see the map of our judiciary is rich in terms of access to justice. Deploying Timothy was a guarantee of a dedicated judicial officer. You knew that no matter how remote or challenging the station was, the flag of justice would be held high. He was the utility player, a steady and a reliable hand who understood that justice is not a metropolitan privilege, but a national right. We honor him for his immense versatility and unwavering dedication to duty in every corner of our republic where he served. Honorable Jacqueline Muthoni Ojwang. My Lady Chief Justice and my Lords, members of the tribute bench, in Jacqueline we saw the bright future of our judiciary. She was not just a magistrate, she was a pioneer. The very first cohort of adjudicators who the Honorable the Chief Justice gazetted during the rollout of the Small Claims Court in Kenya. She was at the forefront of that revolutionary initiative, tasked with the heavy responsibility of making justice accessible, affordable, and expeditious for the common mwananchi. From the pioneering role in the Small Claims Court to our deployments in Kibera, Thika, and Butere, Jacqueline embodied the new dynamic face of our institution. Our passing is a stark reminder of the vibrant potential and the groundbreaking work that has been lost. We honor Jacqueline as a trailblazer who helped lay the foundation for a more responsive justice system in this country. Honorable Monica Kivuti. Honorable Monica's journey from Kiambu to Baricho and finally to Makandara was the story of a magistrate growing in stature. But her story ended in a way that has forever scarred our judicial conscience. Monica did not just pass away, she was brutally killed in the line of duty. In a place she should have been safest, her courtroom. Her death is a searing indictment of the security failures we can no longer afford to ignore. It ripped open a wound that many had chosen to ignore and forced a national conversation that I, as the president of the Kenya Magistrate and Judges Association, have made a cornerstone of my mandate. We honor Monica not only for her steadfast service, but also for the terrible, profound sacrifice that must be the catalyst of permanent, tangible change which must happen. Our memory is now irrevocably tied to the fight for the security of every judicial officer in this country. Honorable Atwete Rashid Jalenga. Honorable Zena Rashid was a bright spark in our fold, whose promise was so tragically brief. Her story was a profound inspiration. She did not just overcome odds, she redefined them. She was the future we are all working for. Zena, to have that future so stolen abruptly is a different kind of pain. The pain of potential unrealized. The pain of a story ended in its first stage. As our colleagues, our hearts break for the journey she was so eagerly starting. Honorable Bernard Kipyego Ndugut. Bernard was a leader in the magistracy. The silence he leaves behind is deafening. Bernard exemplified the highest standards of integrity, professionalism, and compassion. Throughout his service in Bondon, Thiwa, Kericho, and Mololo courts, we knew him for his patience, attentiveness, and his ability to ensure that at all times, those who came before him felt truly seen and heard. We grieve for his quiet strength and for the leadership that has been so cruelly ripped from our ranks. Honorable Kunyuk John Tito, a brilliant scholar, a revered giant in Sharia law. Tito graduated with exceptional qualifications from the TCIS and served in the judiciary with distinction from 2013. This remarkable journey took him from Kajiado to Isiolo, to Kakuma, to Kisumu, to Nakuru, touching countless lives with his profound wisdom and the serene presence at the heart of diverse Muslim communities. Tito was a deep contemplative thinker and who dispensed justice rooted in faith and fairness. He enriched Islamic jurisprudence through scholarly articles, books we read, and conference presentations that we benefited from that transcended routine judicial work. We honor him for his service, and may Allah grant him Janatul Firdaus and comfort his beloved family. Honorable Hathman Abdullahi Hussein, Chief Kadhi. Chief Kadhi, Honorable Hathman, our senior brother, a counselor whose door was always open. His passing felt like the falling of a great ancient tree that provided shade for all of us. He was a moral and a professional compass for the entire Kadhi's court structure. My interactions with the Honorable Chief Kadhi were always marked by his deep wisdom and his unwavering principle. In Islamic law, he was an institution. We honor the Chief Kadhi as a pillar of our collective judiciary and our leader of immense stature. To the families, the memories are real. They are vivid and they are personal. We remember our departed colleagues for their determination and belief in a just society, a readiness and the will to serve and uphold justice in every corner of the Republic. Let it be known and let it be immortalized in our records that they did not fail you. They did not fail the judiciary, and they did not fail the people of Kenya. These 7 souls were the hands and the feet of our highest calling. Today, as we symbolically close their files, we must forcibly open a new chapter on the judiciary, for what we are all called upon to do. Our colleagues' legacy must strengthen and fortify us. We will transform our grief into grit and our mourning into a relentless movement for the benefit and the protection of all judicial officers. The decisions of our departed colleagues are now part of our jurisprudence. Their leadership is a part of our history. Their sacrifice is a permanent entry into the conscience of our nation. And so, we lower the gavel for the final time, not in judgment, but in profound gratitude. Your dockets are clear. Your court is adjourned. Go now in the perfect peace you so fiercely upheld in life. And may you find in eternity, the absolute justice you all sought to build here on earth. Until we meet again at the bench of the Almighty, colleagues, rest well. Justice be our shield and defender. now and always. Honorable Chief Justice, members of the tribute bench, I submit for the Kenya Magistrate and Judges Association. Thank you.
Honorable Evelyn Olwande, Commissioner, Judicial Service Commission.
May it please you, my lady, the Chief Justice and the President of the Supreme Court of Kenya, members of the tribute bench, members of the judiciary, judges and judicial officers, the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, and family members of the departed friends, colleagues, and the entire judicial fraternity, members of the Law Society, representatives from the Attorney General and the Director of Public Prosecution, all protocols observed. Today, we gather not merely to close files, but to honor lives, lives devoted to justice, service, and humanity. We come together in solemn remembrance of our departed colleagues, men and women who carried the weight of responsibility with humility, compassion, and unwavering dedication to the rule of law. They served our nation quietly, steadily, and dutifully. Today, we speak their names with pride, gratitude, and deep respect. Honorable Timothy Oletanju, Senior Resident Magistrate. He served in the judiciary between May 2001 to 2024. Honorable Oletanju served with grace, humility, and a warm spirit. He was amiable, softly spoken, and deeply humane. His colleagues remember his ever-present smile and his ability to encourage others even in challenging times. He embodied resilience, facing challenges with a courageous and stoic heart. In him, we saw what it meant to serve not just as a judicial officer, but as a compassionate human being. Honorable Jacqueline Muthoni Ojwang, Resident Magistrate stroke Adjudicator, served in the judiciary between November 2021 and 2024. Though her time in the judiciary was brief, her impact was profound. Honorable Jacqueline represented integrity, commitment, and hope. Her deep love for service came at a symbolic moment. She joined the judiciary as her father, a long-serving judicial staff, was departing. Hers was quite literally a continuation of a legacy of justice. In her memory, we are reminded that service is not measured in length, but in depth, conviction, and heart. Honorable Monica Kivuti, Principal Magistrate, served in the judiciary between July 2013 and 2024. Honorable Kivuti was known for her strong moral compass, dedication to duty, and compassion for both law and humanity. She championed community initiatives and believed that justice must be felt beyond courtroom walls. Her tragic death in the line of duty continues to prick the conscience of the judiciary and the Judicial Service Commission. Her passing reminds us that those who dispense justice must be able to do so in safety and in dignity. Her sacrifice shall not be in vain. As the Judicial Service Commission, we reaffirm our commitment that we shall not rest until the security of all judiciary personnel and court users is assured. Honorable Zena Atetwe Jalenga, Resident Magistrate stroke Adjudicator, served in the judiciary between August 2023 and 2024. Honorable Zena Jalenga was among the newest members of our judiciary, but her dream, energy, and conviction were unmistakable. At Milimani Commercial Court, she stood firmly for justice and inclusivity. She believed that true justice must be accessible, especially to persons living with disability. She lived that belief through her work, her advocacy, and her compassion. She leaves behind a legacy of inclusion, courage, and quiet strength. Honorable Bernard Rugut, Principal Magistrate, served in the judiciary between July 2012 and 2024. Honorable Rugut exemplified judicial professionalism. Fair, diligent, and morally grounded, he served the judiciary with such consistency and grace that his colleagues fondly remember him as the gentleman magistrate. At Molo Law Courts, he led not with authority alone, but with empathy, fairness, and humility, the essence of judicial conduct. Honorable Tito Kunyuk, Principal Kadhi, served in the judiciary between January 2013 and 2024. Honorable Kunyuk was not only a judicial officer, he was a scholar, a historian, and a community pillar. His intellectual body of work on Islamic family law, the history of the Qadhi's court, and Turkana cultural heritage will live on long after him. His passion for community service was extraordinary. He lifted and walked with his people. His life teaches us that justice is not merely a profession, it is a calling of both heart and mind. Honorable Abdul Halim Hussein, Chief Kadhi of the Republic of Kenya, served in the judiciary between January 2005 and 2024. Honorable Hussein was a visionary, a bridge between tradition and constitutional order. As Chief Kadhi, he elevated the institution of the Qadhi's Court and ensured its integration within the national judicial system, while honoring its religious foundation and integrity. He brought wisdom, humility, and foresight to every responsibility. In him, we saw the serenity of faith intertwined with the discipline of the law. Today, as we archive their files, we do not close their stories. These distinguished honorable men and women have written chapters into the life of our institution, chapters of courage, diligence, humility, faith, and humanity. Their work has shaped the judiciary. Their lives has touched our hearts. Their legacy will guide our future. On behalf of the Judicial Service Commission, we honor their service, cherish their memory, and assure their families that their contributions live on, not just in documents, but in the lives they touched, the people they served, and the justice they dispensed. May we, the living, carry forth their spirit with humility, purpose, and an unwavering commitment to justice. May their souls continue to rest in eternal peace. Thank you. On behalf of the Judicial Service Commission, I submit.
I hand over the proceedings to my lady, the Chief Justice.
Thank you, all the colleagues, for your very profound submissions, and members of the family for your kind words of remembrance and tributes to our departed judicial officers. I invite Mr. Charles Mutinda to make concluding submissions before I make my closing address.
Thank you, Your Ladyship, Chief Justice, and members of the tribute bench, we have this afternoon heard the moving tributes and memories in honor of our departed colleagues. Your Ladyship, it is without a doubt that these special tribute proceedings provide comfort to the families of our departed colleagues, even as we acknowledge their invaluable contributions to the administration of justice. And so in closing, Your Ladyship and members of the tribute bench, I respectfully apply to this honorable special tribute court and make the following prayers. The first one, that these special tribute court proceedings for our 7 consolidated departed colleagues, and of course in the 7 consolidated miscellaneous applications, be formally adopted as a permanent record of this honorable court. The second one, that certified copies of these special tribute court proceedings be availed to the families of each of the 7 departed judicial officers, as well as all the magistrates' court archives, the High Court archives, and also the Law Society of Kenya, so that we may maintain the memories of our departed colleagues. And lastly, Your Ladyship and members of the tribute bench, this being a matter of professional courtesy and in the public interest, that there be no orders as to costs. I do pray, Your Ladyship. Thank you.
Before the bench pronounces the decision of the court, I would like to make my address. Honorable judges and judicial officers, members of the Judicial Service Commission, the Chief Registrar of the Judiciary, senior counsel and advocates present from the Office of the Attorney General and the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, families and friends of our departed colleagues, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. We have gathered this evening in solemn unity to perform one of the judiciary's most sacred and corrective duties of honoring, remembering, and giving dignified closure to the files of 7 of our colleagues who departed from us over the last 2 years. Each of these officers served our nation with devotion, humility, and integrity. Their passing has left an unmistakable void, not only within their families and communities, but within the judiciary family, which they so faithfully served. So today, as we remember Honorable Adhman Hussein, Chief Kadhi, Honorable Monica Kivuti, Principal Magistrate, Honorable Bernard Lugut, Principal Magistrate, Honorable John Tito Kunyak, Principal Kadhi, Honorable Timothy Oretanchu, Senior Resident Magistrate, Honorable Jacqueline Muthoni Ojwang, Resident Magistrate, and Honorable Zena Rashid, Resident Magistrate. We take this opportunity to honor them not only as judicial officers, but as parents, spouses, colleagues, friends, and mentors. These colleagues are also pillars of their communities. The grief we feel is deep, but it is matched by our gratitude for the lives they lived, the example they set, and the sacrifices they made in the service of justice. Allow me to reflect on the lives and service of each one of them. Honorable Athman Hussein, our Chief Kadhi. He was a scholar in the truest sense of the word. He combined rigorous intellectual training with humility and profound spiritual depth. He served diligently across Malindi, Mombasa, Isiolo, Upper Hill, and finally as the Chief Kadhi, where he distinguished himself as a jurist whose wisdom, compassion, and mastery of Islamic jurisprudence inspired both the legal fraternity and the Muslim community. His judgments, marked by clarity and fidelity to fiqh principles, were a blend of textual precision and human understanding converged. He mentored countless young scholars and kadhis, and his pursuit of knowledge remained evident until his final day. We pray that Allah grants him the highest rank in Jannah. Honorable Monica Kivuti, her death remains one of the darkest moments in the history of our institution. She was attacked while discharging her judicial duties in a makeshift tent over lunch hour, still hearing cases so that litigants, many of them vulnerable, would not be turned away. Her life embodied the spirit of service. She was principled, courageous, and deeply committed to her oath of office. Her killing was not just a personal tragedy. It was an attack on the rule of law and on the independence of the judiciary. Our sacrifice must continue to inspire our unyielding defense of judicial independence and institutional safety. We continue to stand with our family and honor her memory as a heroine of justice. The Honorable Bernard Rugut Kipyegon, a principal magistrate who brought gentleness, diligence, and compassion to every station he served, from Bondo to Ndhiwa, Kericho, and Moro. His colleagues and court users consistently described him as patient, fair, and respectful. He listened attentively, decided calmly, and treated every litigant, no matter their station in life, with dignity. The mark he left behind is one of quiet excellence, the kind that changes lives not through grandeur, but through daily fidelity to the principles of law. His legacy endures in every person who walked out of his courtroom feeling they have been heard. Honorable John Tito Kunyak, Principal Kadhi, he was not only a judicial officer, but also a prolific researcher and community leader. His scholarship on Islamic family law, the history and jurisprudence of the Kadhi's courts, and the culture of his Turkana community enriched Kenya's intellectual and legal landscape. Throughout his service in Kajiado, Isiolo, Kakuma, Kisumu, and Nakuru, he was known for his clarity of thought. He was also known for fairness and compassion. Beyond the courtroom, he championed charity initiatives and community empowerment programs in Turkana. He served justice with a scholar's mind and a pastoral heart. Honorable Timothy Ole Tanchu, was a warm, humorous, dedicated judicial officer who touched every life he encountered. His service across Makandara, Taveta, City Court, Mombasa, Limuru, and Kibera reflected his steadfastness and commitment to justice. He was empathetic in all his approaches and dealings with litigants. Colleagues admired his collegiality and strong sense of teamwork. He played an active leadership role in the Kenya Magistrates and Judges Association, as well as the East Africa Judges and Magistrates Association, where he was deeply involved in judiciary sports as a member and patron in football clubs. His passing has left a profound void in our judiciary family. Honorable Jacqueline Muthoni Ojwang served with kindness, generosity, and a spirit of genuine friendships. From Kibera to Thika and Butere, she carried herself with humility and warmth. She was known for her courage and wisdom, for a gentle but firm approach to cases, and for the humanity she extended to colleagues and court users alike. Her absence is not only being felt in her home, Mfangano Highland, but is deeply felt across the entire judiciary. Honorable Zena Rashid. Her life stands as a profound testament of resilience, courage, and unwavering dedication to justice. From the moment she joined the judiciary, she approached her work with vibrant energy, optimism, and unmistakable passion for service. Her service at the Milimani Commercial Court reflected the same spirited commitment. She worked with diligence, fairness, and compassion, ensuring that every litigant who came before her felt heard and respected. Having lost her sight, Honorable Zena transformed her adversity into a powerful platform for advocacy, becoming a champion for the rights of persons living with disabilities and serving with distinction on the board of the National Council for Persons with Disabilities. Her story is one of extraordinary strength, turning personal hardship into public service, and her legacy will remain an enduring source of inspiration within the judiciary. Colleagues, learned friends and family members, and friends of our departed colleagues, these 7 judicial officers came from different corners of our nation. They served in different courts. They presided over different matters and lived different lives. Yet they were bound by the same calling, the calling to serve justice with integrity, without fear or favor. Their stories remind us that the judiciary is not sustained by statutes and structures alone. It is sustained by the people who inhabit its halls with courage, compassion, discipline, and honor. As we close their files today, we do not close their memory. We affirm their legacies as part of the enduring institutional memory of the judiciary of Kenya. Their service forms part of the strong foundation upon which we continue to build a more accessible, a more independent, and a more people-centered justice system. We thank their families for the sacrifices they endured, for their patience, and for the support that enabled these 7 distinguished judicial officers serve our nation so diligently. The judiciary stands with you today and always. In honoring them, we also recommit ourselves to the ideals they embodied. Let their lives remind us of the solemn duty placed upon us by our Constitution to administer justice without fear, favor, bias, or prejudice. Let their example strengthen our resolve to uphold the dignity of every person who enters our courts. And let their memory encourage us to support one another as a family bound by a shared mission. May the souls of our 7 departed colleagues continue resting in eternal peace. May their families find comfort in knowing that their loved ones served with distinction, which we celebrate today, and that their contribution to justice in Kenya will never be forgotten. I thank you all for your attention. My honor and privilege to request the presiding judge, Environment and Land Court, the Honorable Mr. Justice Oscar Angote, to read the order of the court.
Thank you very much, Chief Justice. This is the ruling of the court in the matter of the special tribute for the late Honorable Athman Abdullahi Hussein, Honorable Bernard Kipyegon Ragut, Honorable Kanyuk John Tito, Honorable Monica Kivuti, Honorable Timothy Oletanjo, Honorable Jacqueline Muthoni Ojwang, and Honorable Zena Atewe Rashid. Upon considering the application by the Honorable Attorney General and the submissions made in form of tributes in the honor of the late Honorable Athman Abdullahi Hussein, Honorable Bernard Kipyegon Ragut, Honorable Kanyuk John Tito, Honorable Monica Kivuti, Honorable Timothy Oletanjo, Honorable Jacqueline Muthoni Ojwang, and Honorable Zena Atetwe Rashid, we find merit in the application. Accordingly, we hereby direct that 1, these special proceedings be and are hereby adopted as a permanent record of this court. 2, the certified copies of the proceedings together with the written tributes shared by the various speakers be available to the family of the late judicial officers, as well as the Magistrates Court Archives, the High Court Archives, and the Law Society of Kenya. 3, this being a matter of great professional and public interest, there shall be no order as to cause, and we hereby order. Thank you very much.
My Lady, the Chief Justice, and the presiding bench, we will now hand over mementos to each of the families, and we will begin with the family of the late former Chief Kadhi. The memento will be received by Mr. Shakue Kahala Kombo. The memento includes the portrait, the tributes, and decisions that were rendered by our departed judicial officers. Honorable Purity Rugut. Mr. Omar Sakwa. Mr. Mutima Kangata. Mrs. Patricia Tanchu. Mr. Johnson Ogjuang. Miss Nancy Abos. Thank you so much, my lady, and the presiding bench. My lady, you may take your seat together with the presiding bench. Thank you, the Honorable the Chief Justice and the tribute bench for presiding over these special sittings in honor of the departed judicial officers. This being a special sitting, I will now invite the following persons to give a vote of thanks in the following order. We will start with Mr. Maura Kabata on behalf of the legal fraternity. Will be followed by Mr. Mutima Kangata on behalf of the family of the departed judicial officers. And lastly, Ms. Jan Mohammed, Senior Counsel, on behalf of the Senior Counsel Bar. Mr. Kabata.
Honorable the Chief Justice and the tribute bench, my lords, allow me to convey a hearty gratitude from the Law Society of Kenya, first and foremost for the efficacy in delivering the orders in this application sought by Mr. Charles Mutinda from the Attorney General's office. Also, allow me to take this opportunity to extend our warmest gratitude for the invitation to the Law Society of Kenya to participate in these file closing proceedings. Honorable Chief Justice and your bench, I have had a lot of positive remarks in support of what the judiciary has done to the families of the 7 departed colleagues, and on that I wish to let you know that the payment can only be done by God. Receive that while you can hear Madam CJ as well as your tribute bench. To the families of the departed 7 colleagues, poleni sana. We are grateful to participate in these proceedings with you. We know that the pain may not be assuaged only by words, but the memories will live with you forever. I like using a prayer that I learned somewhere which says, I pray to God that our Heavenly Father may assuage the anguish of your bereavement and lead you only the cherished memories of the loved now lost, in the solemn pride that must be yours to have laid down individually a price so costly upon the altar of justice. To the senior counsels present and the members of the Law Society of Kenya present, I thank you for participating in these proceedings with us, and to the members of the Kenya Judges and Magistrates Association, I also thank you for standing with your colleagues, your departed 7 colleagues, and for all those who made these proceedings a success, including the media team as well as the security team at the door. We are extremely grateful for your participation and your input in the success in these proceedings. Madam CJ and your tribute bench, on behalf of the Law Society of Kenya, I submit our gratitude. Asante sana.
May I now call upon Mr. Mutima Kangata.
Thank you, Madam Chief Justice. I take this opportunity on behalf of myself, my family, and the families of the departed, to thank you personally, to thank the bench, and to thank the judiciary for taking this unprecedented step. I believe it has never happened before. It has happened among senior members of LSK, Law Society, but not in the judiciary. So it is precedent setting. Unlike Justice Mulwa said, we trust that this is going to be institutionalized so that it becomes the norm going forward. Once again, thank you very much, and we really appreciate it. Thank you.
Ms. Jan Mohammed, on behalf of the Senior Counsel Bar.
Madam Chief Justice and members of the tribute bench, judges, advocates and everything, mine is a simple duty to say first thank you very much in this precedent-setting ceremony, but I'm hoping that we don't have too many more of these, because whilst it's precedent-setting, we don't want too many of our people going, so let's hope there won't be another one for 10 years. That's all I can say. But thank you very much to the judges, to all the protocols I may get wrong, simply for the reason I believe I'm a lot older than a lot of people here, so I might get the protocols wrong, so forgive me for that. But thank you, judicial officers, for coming, members of the families of the 7 judicial officers who've passed away. It may be difficult, but remember one thing today, that the judiciary and the legal fraternity, the Senior Counsel Bar, all remember your family members that you've lost. So let's just take solace in that. Easier said than done, but do take solace and remember that, like I said, you will always be in our hearts because of what your partners, your spouses, your daughters did. And with that, thank you very much for coming. And once again, like I said, the people we always forget are our court assistants. We never thank them. They go through a lot. They set up everything. So court assistants, I know you're not your normal court assistants, you're DRs, but thank you very much as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Senior Counsel. We have come to the end of the formal proceedings of closing of files proceedings in memory or in honor of our departed judicial officers. At this point, we will all rise and bow in conclusion of the proceedings. We may take our seats for the next brief session. Now that we have formally ended the session, the proceedings, we will get into the photo session. And Ms. Lillian Mweni from DPAC will take charge from here.
Thank you. We are going to have a permanent bench, which will comprise the bench, the bench on top. Then we are going to have the CRJ. Then we are going to have Honorable Luande representing JSC and the president of KMJA. We are going to have the photos here. That will be our permanent bench. We are not going to move. We are going to be joined by the family of Athman Hussein. Next. Thank you very much. So the family of Bernard. As we take that photo, the family of Tito, John Tito, will be next. Thank you very much. The family of John Tito. As we take that photo, the family of the late Monica Kibuti will be next. The family of the late Monica Kibuti. And as we take that photo, the family of Timothy Sanchu should prepare to come. The family of Timothy. And as we take that photo, the family of the late Mudhoni Ojwang should prepare to come. Thank you very much. After that photo, we'll have the family of Zena, the late Zena. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The family of the late Zena. After that photo, we have all senior councils, LSK representative, the DPP representative, and the AG representative present. The next photo will be of all judicial officers. We can have the judge, after the judge can remain with the judicial officers also. So we have the judges first. Sorry for that. The judges should not leave, they will be joined by the judicial officers. Before the judicial officers, we can have the BRs who, I don't want to call it, can have the BRs. Yes. Then from there now the other judicial officers can join, and that will be our last photo. So that should be our last photo of the day. Thank you very much. Staff members, ready. All staff members, we forget ourselves. We always, RFC staff members and the rest of the staff members. For the family members of our departed judicial officers, we reconvene again.